Welcome to the Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast, episode number 47. Wow, that's a lot.
It is.
I am Caleb from the Old Pass. Over here is Josh, the Bama. It was going so good.
Well,
Just fell apart.
the Bama Bay.
Bama Jaybird Reseller. Wow.
I think only my wife would call me the Bama Bay.
The Bama Babe. Yep, you are now the Bama Babe. Oh, goodness. Anyway, how's it going
Bless your heart,
all
brother.
that? Yeah, bless my heart. That's exactly right. You know what's wrong with me.
It's going great, man. You just got too much going on. You're overwhelmed right now, I know.
No, you know why I'm scrambled. Where's my belt?
Oh.
Somebody took it away from me again.
On a hiatus, brother.
You clearly won last week. I even got a message from Glenn. For those of you that don't know Glenn, he's Cubster out in eBay and Instagram and all that. He come to our meetup last year, and Glenn was awesome. And he messaged me and said, Josh won, loser. And I was like, gee, thanks. He said, well, somebody had to humble you. I was like, then he hit the smiley faces, like he was just kidding. But I was like, man, yeah, man. I got humbled a little bit there last week. So,
I'm looking forward to a record reign here. So,
record.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the goal.
Just like all things happen, Roman Reigns just lost his belt. And I promise you he'll get it back eventually, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. I might just have to take, a couple months and regroup like they do until I'm ready. Until I'm ready to take it back. I don't know what kind of title you won because, Will made us the paper championship.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I know.
So maybe that's the one you won. I don't know. Maybe you either won the paper championship or the Intercontinental title, or maybe it's the hardcore title. It's the one that's broke and it's in the garbage can.
Right. I was thinking for me, if I held it 2 weeks in a row, that'd be a record for me.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's just the truth.
It is the truth. So I forgot the tagline. You're home for reselling wrestling in real good times. I'm just on top of it this week.
It was that fumble,
Yeah, I was humbled and it scrambled me. And yeah. So how's it going?
It's going well. I mean, it is busy like always. The weather changing and getting nicer outside. I've been doing a lot of work on the house. We've been trying to put the siding on, so I haven't had as much time for eBay as I would like to have. I've listing has kind of taken a hit, but that's just part of it. Even though I consider myself full time, I got so many other things going on right now that it's hard to devote the hours to it that I really know I should be. But hopefully, eventually, I get some of those things behind me, and it's not that I'm not being productive. It's just I'm having to be productive in some other areas of life right now. So that's all well and good.
You're just living life is what you're.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being responsible. I mean, really.
Yeah. That's a hard thing to do. I don't like it.
I know, right?
But, I like to come out here and eBay. That's what I want to do. Like nothing else.
I told my wife, I told Casey the other day, I said, I can't wait till I can actually have, like, I'll be glad when I have the first month that, I mean, I know there's always going to be live stuff, but I'm saying the first month where I can feel like I've spent a good 8-hour day, like 5 days a week minimum, a good 8-hour day, just focusing on eBay. I mean, I think, there's so much room to grow as long as we get out there and we learn what we need to learn about buying the right inventory. There's so much room to grow the business and to increase profitability, but you do have to take time and spend time with it. And I'm excited to see what the results will be when I actually have that much time to give to it.
Absolutely. And, I was thinking the other day, so we are moved. We have stayed in the new house a couple of days, and I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, how long I want it to take. Because obviously we did have to get some sort of a mortgage for this house. So I was telling myself, okay, once the house we're in sells and we're completely transferred over to the new one, how long do I want it to take before we're paid off? And I was like, I have the power in my hands. If I want to come out and list 20 a day, 50 a day, whatever that number would be, if I wanted to crank down and make eBay explode, we have the power. I promise you right now, I'm experiencing what we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
When you list, you sell. When you don't list, you don't.
Right.
My graph, it went way up because I turned on that sale and everything. And now it's starting to come back down and level out. And I'm averaging like $80 and $100 a day sales, because I haven't listed in like 50 days or something.
Right.
So I'm just sitting there thinking, kind of what you just talked about. Can't wait for the first day that you get to gauge how is this really going to be. Like,
right.
House is done, eBay shed's done. You don't have all these pressing.
Oh needs. Yeah.
You have normal life, but you don't have all these pressing things, and you can devote that time. And I'm the same way. I'm sitting there thinking, if I did list 50 a day, how long would it take me listing 50 a day to pay off this house? Like, how long? And that's been my mindset for the last week. Like, when I do get cranked back up, how long will it take? And and I can't wait. I'm actually kind of getting my mindset pumped up in that way.
Yeah.
Because, I still have to get a reselling space ready and all that. So, like, getting my mind right is important.
Mm-hmm.
That way, day one, when you sit down and you're going, you can do that. Like, you can crank them out and be ready for it. But
oh yeah, that's in the same here. The thing that gets me is the more I think about it, I try to get a time frame in mind, and I mean, I know the project that, I'm doing for Mom it's been ongoing for, probably longer than it should have, but, it's a combination of factors. Part of it, just other things getting in the way. Part of it, me working by myself. When I do work, it's slower. And then motivation, just to be honest. I mean, sometimes there's with so many things going on. I told my wife, sometimes you'll wake up and it's like, there's so many directions that I need to go. I'll lose time sitting there trying to figure out what direction to go in. I mean, that's why I did a video a while back and I talked about, trying to plan your day. And I mean, before I did that video, I had sat down and I mean, I used to do stuff like that when I was really crowded, but I felt like I had gotten good at managing my day. Mm-hmm. And, but I had to step back, man. I had to really think about it the night before. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is the order I'm going to do it in. If I don't, man, my efficiency just plummets. But yeah, it's it's a tug of war, because the more you give to one thing, the more you have to take away from the other. And saying that the house for Mom, I would love to have that finished, at least where we can get her moved in within a couple of months, and we're getting close. I've got the wiring completed, but all but the ground rod and one wire. I've got to run the wire for the stove. And we're probably not even going to hook a stove up because, it's too dangerous for her, but we're going to have it set up where it can have one. We'll probably just leave it unplugged. But I got to run that wire, and then the plumbing is finished. I had done a good bit of the water plumbing, and then I didn't have anyone to help me with the drain. I did the drain. Me and my dad did the drain on my house. But it's hard to, you can't put big PVC together hardly by yourself. You got to have someone else to hold and push. And so I wound up getting a young preacher who just got his journeyman card, and a friend of his who just got his master plumber license. And they literally this week went out on their own. This last week was their first week kind of starting their own business. They got a ton of work lined up, but they come out and worked me in and finished that up for me, and did a great job. So the plumbing's finished and ready to go. The wiring's pretty much finished and ready to go. I'm working on the siding, and hopefully, I'm going to go pick up insulation maybe by the end of the week and get it insulated and be ready for sheetrock. And HVAC's got me scared off, because I mean, that's a big cost, about $7,000 or $8,000.
Yeah, it's really
what
bad.
I was quoted, and so I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that. That's what I say. And the other thing that slowed us down is money. You can only do what you can afford to do at the time, and so sometimes you run out of funds. You got to wait a month or two to kind of catch up some extra to go invest again and do the next step. But hopefully by the summer, and that'll put me then maybe finally working on, building out my eBay space in the new building. And so maybe by the end of the year or the first of next year, I can actually have everything moved in a new workspace out there, I would hope. But who knows?
I can't wait. I
the
can't wait
cost
to
is
see it.
the cost is the big hindrance right now, more
Oh
so
yeah,
than anything else. So
yeah. The I'm fixing to go through the same thing on a heating and air unit because
right,
the guest house on the new home that will be my eBay shed at least temporarily, maybe more long term. We don't know yet. But it don't have it right now needs to be insulated, and the wiring is all ran. There's just a couple of places need to be tied together,
right.
and so insulate it, finish that little bit of wiring, then sheetrock it, paint it, trim it out, floor it, those types of things. But it still does yet need a heat and air unit. And I don't know how big the house you did is, but this is what I did in this building, and probably what I'll do in that one is the mini split, because if the building is efficient, man, it don't take much. And
Right.
we'll probably spray insulate this one. We didn't spray insulate this one. We just
Yeah.
did the stapled up, which has been good enough. But the reason I say I'll probably spray the house, excuse me, the house we bought was completely spray insulated. And man, I'm telling you right now, you go in there, the thermostat will be on 67 or 68. It kicks on like once every couple of hours. It
Yeah.
literally does not lose heat or cool. It's one of the most
That's good.
amazingly efficient houses I've ever seen. And when the previous homeowner, me and him have become really good friends, he was telling me the guy that he had do the house, he could give me his number. I'm like, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
I want this guy to come out. He said he would spray the floors because it's built like a pole
Right.
building, and spray it, and then put some skirting, and spray the walls, the ceiling, and like, man, you won't. I don't think you'll ever have to worry. He said if you spray it the way he was going to, you could run a space heater and it would keep it the temperature you want it. And I'm like, a space heater. And you listen, it's 400. No, yeah, it's 400 square feet plus a loft, but the ceilings are like 13 feet high. Now
Right.
you talk about heating something like that with a space heater. I
Yeah.
would have never believed that.
Right.
So, but when I go in the house and I'm like, this place is awesome.
Right.
Like, I think you probably could. So a mini split would probably be efficient on something like that.
Right. Now, that's what we were looking at, but because of it's not even 1,000 square feet. It's like 900 square feet. I think it's
Oh yeah.
24 by 40 or a little over 900. But it's got to be a multi-zone because the way that it
Yeah.
is divided up. That's the only thing. And so, the multi-zone, mini splits a lot of times are cheaper than a regular HVAC unit.
They
But
are.
when you move to the multi-zone unit, then
You
you
start
you
shelling it out once you
yeah, I
start.
mean, it winds up being the cost of just a regular HVAC or maybe a little more because you
Does.
either have to do that or you have to buy multiple small units, and then
Yeah.
you're taking up a lot of wall space with the
Yeah.
air handler. So I'm looking at one. I've got a friend that I went to school with whose dad had locally here ran an HVAC business for years, and he took over after his dad passed away, and he come out and took a look, and they've got a new unit that has an indoor air handler. It's a mini split,
Yeah.
but instead of, I mean, it's like just like you have like with a regular HVAC, like mine's in the closet,
Yeah.
one of the little closets here in the house, my air handler. And so now they got a mini split where they got that little small unit outside and they
Mhm.
run the refrigerant, the piping into that, and they have regular ductwork that they run
Yeah.
from that, and it cools and heats the whole place just
Yeah.
like a full size unit, but it's still a mini split, running on that 30 amp breaker that hardly pulls any energy. And
Yeah.
so I'm looking at that. Matter of fact, I'd love to transition my house over to that because man, the power bills have been crazy the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Mine's doubled within the last year and a half from what it used to be.
Good grief, man.
And we were doing nothing different. Nothing different. I
I
mean,
know it makes it
it's ridiculous.
impossible to, it makes it hard to just keep up with regular life, like,
Oh, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
so
We
speaking of the new house, I haven't filmed for my old past video. I've consistently put out a video a week since I started.
right.
I think I've done 26, 27, something like that. And I took my GoPro with me to the new house, and I forgot it Monday morning when I come here to pack, and so I didn't record any content at all. So, like what me and you was kind of talking about, I may end up doing is like a sneak peek. And by the time you're watching this, it has been decided if there will be a video or not. But I'm thinking possibly doing like a sneak peek of either the property or the new reselling space or something to do with look what's coming in the future type video.
Right.
And whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, just to give people a little bit of insight on what is about to happen. And the reason I hadn't done that up till now is I've been waiting for everything to get cleared up on the, all the legal paperwork, financial, mortgage, yada, yada, transferring of ownership type stuff.
Yeah.
Just to try to give it time. But I think I'm getting to the point now where we're pretty safe.
You're sleeping there, Caleb. I mean,
I'm sleeping. We've been there for 4 days.
I mean, it's no longer a vacation.
It still feels like a vacation home, man. Yeah. It feels like we're in the mountains somewhere.
Oh, I can't. Yeah.
It's been unreal. But I think we started staying there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Monday. What is today? Tuesday? I guess we've been there 5 nights. I think.
We know why you're able to do this. It all goes back to our last podcast. It's all that money you're raking in on YouTube now.
That is exactly right. If it wasn't for you guys with all this money, oh my goodness, yeah.
You worried about being able to pay it off? It's already paid for, right?
It's been paid for months ago. Months ago.
That's right.
Plus all these appearances and autograph signings for being the longest reigning dad joke champion of all time. Other than that, sorry, I just
whoa.
Throw one of those in there.
Here we go again. Good Lord, man.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I got to do it.
Not. No, you're not. Well, yeah, you are, but no, you're not.
Okay. I'll see how it's going to be. Okay. We're going to get pumped up here for the main event of this show.
Yeah.
So tell me about you sent me a picture, and man, I was so blown away by this of a vase.
Yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'm not an expert on these things. I'll start with that. So don't label me an expert. But if you watch enough YouTube content, and I really advocate for this a lot on my channel, that we need to be constantly learning. Find content creators that can contribute to your knowledge, especially if you're an everything seller. That find content creators that are selling things that you don't sell, that talk about them, that help you learn about them. And so I don't like to buy a lot of glass, but I went to this sale Saturday morning, and we actually went a different direction than normal to a smaller town, and we didn't have a plan. There weren't any big community sales to go to without driving to Birmingham. We didn't want to do that. And so we saw this sign as we were coming into town, and it was a part of town I normally wouldn't even turn into. But then when we turned, we drove on this road like 2.5 miles. And by the time we got to where the neighborhood had even changed, it was different. And so we pulled up in this yard, and it was a family. I think it was 2 brothers and 2 sisters that were finishing up cleaning out their mom's house. It was the stuff that they hadn't claimed themselves. You know how that goes,
Right.
And they were kind of doing an estate/yard sale, but it wasn't a big estate sale. There wasn't a ton of stuff. I mean, it was big for a yard sale, but it would have been tiny for an estate sale.
Right.
But anyway, that being said, I looked around outside. They had a ton of vintage Tupperware. I left all that behind. I just didn't have the desire to comb through it. Didn't see anything I felt like I should grab necessarily there. But as I was going through, I was looking. They had some neat stuff. I picked up a couple of things, and then I saw someone coming out of the house, and I said, "Oh yeah, that one room right there. We've got some stuff that you can go in and look at." Well, I stepped in the door, and as I stepped in the door, immediately to my left, I see this green vase, and I looked at it, and I was like, I have heard about it. I've seen those. I'm pretty sure I know what this is. So I just grabbed it. Had a little piece of masking tape with $10 wrote on it, stuck to it. I picked it up. I headed out the door, and I just went ahead and asked. I said, where can I start a pile? And so I said, well, just over there behind the grill. So I went and laid it down. Well, this was a swung vase. It's 32.5 inches tall. And from the research that I've done, I know that L.E. Smith is one of the main, that him and then Anchor Hocking. Those are the two brands that you look for. There's no markings on these most of the time. It's just, it's just by the style and the age. It's mid-century stuff. And so anyway, I grabbed it. I knew they were very collectible and really valuable. And I hear people a lot of times talking about, oh, I found one here, I found one there, or talking about maybe they're overpriced. But again, this was $10. I didn't even try to do a comp on it or anything at the time. I knew it was worth me getting it $10.
Yeah.
And so I finished gathering stuff up. I found some other things. I told Caleb I picked up this Bratz doll. It was 50 cents still in the package. And there's only been one of these new in the package sale in the last 90 days, and it sold for $250. And that's not because there's a bunch of them listed, because there's none listed that's new in the package. So it is missing one thing. They had opened the box, but they didn't take everything loose. But the rubber band had dry rotted, and there was a star down here that fell out. So that's going to hurt the value a little bit, but I would expect it still bring $200.
I mean, boo-hoo, you're only going to make $200 on 50 cents, man.
I know, right?
How sad for you.
Man, my pile from that day, I paid $50 for everything. And that included the swung vase, the doll, the jaws. If you looked at my Instagram, if you haven't, go check me out over there.
Yes,
I've actually, I thought I had it here somewhere. Oh, well, it's up on the shelf. Anyway, I'll show the box. I got the box here because I brought it in here yesterday.
Oh, man.
So that's the box. So cool. Jaws the game. And,
it's so cool.
And it's got, of course, the shark, and it's complete. It's in good condition. And then I had like 5 or 6 of the little pieces that go with it. It was not a complete set altogether. But, man, those things, if they're complete with the box, they'll sell for like $250 or better. If you have all the pieces. So
jealous.
It's crazy. But
I would have bought every bit of that stuff you bought too. Like
the vase though, man, look. I got back and in the truck, and I was kind of, I was just feeling like this has got to be really good. And I got to looking them up, and it was what I thought. I thought it was I knew it was a swung vase. I was hoping it's L.E. Smith, and it was. From what I could tell research wise, it's a style that he was very well known for. And I got to looking him up, and I knew this one was really tall because I'm really short, and it was over half my height.
How do you gauge height? Just look how tall I am.
You know what I mean? When it's coming up over my waist, I just know, that's a pretty good size. Well, some people say, well, maybe it's not because I'm short, but anyway. But I knew it was at
least 2 foot tall.
At least a foot tall. But anyway, so I got to looking them up, man, and they were priced good. The ones I was looking at when I was finding stuff similar, a couple $100. But what I got to noticing was most of the ones that I was seeing on the solds, they were 18, 25, 28, 20, inches tall. And I finally, as I was scrolling down, I put in 30 inches because I thought I'm pretty sure this is between 30 and 36 inches tall. And when I did that, man, the list got really short. And there were only a few solds, and the solds, one of them sold for like 900 something. One had been listed at 12 and was the best offer. And I told my wife, and I said, I'm pretty sure that's over 30 inches. If that's over 30 inches, we just like hit a home run. Like, 3 home runs. And so when we got home, first thing I did, Caleb, I took it out, I set it down on the garage floor, and I grabbed a tape measure, and I pulled that thing up 32.5 inches. I looked at my wife. It has no chips, no problems, no issues. And so packing it might be a bear, but I noticed that the people that have them listed that are that size and that valuable, a lot of them, they might have like $150 for shipping. So I may even go to like a pack mill or something like that where they can cut out the styrofoam if I, when I sell that, and just pay the extra cost to make sure it gets there. Because I think for that amount of profit, it's worth it.
That would be one of them times you've seen those things like that, like American Bubble Boy sells them, I believe, the things that you open them and they expand the foam out, and you lay the item in the foam, and then you expand the other one around it. That would be one of them times I would maybe even think about something like that. Cause something that I've never had $1,000 item. I've had like $500-600 items, but never 1,000. And that just amazes me. I've heard of that stuff too, but I wasn't aware that the height made all the difference. So you educated me, but I hope you do get 1,000.
Yeah,
That would be
evidently,
awesome.
it's just rare to find them that are over 30. There's quite a few listed in that are 20-something inches tall, but
Gosh.
there's just not very many that are listed that are 30 inches or better tall. That makes them, I guess, just makes them more hard to find. I don't know, man. All I know is I'm glad I stumbled upon it. It's one of those things that I never really thought that I would probably find like that. You know, I've seen them before. There was a Facebook post in my area a while back. Someone had like 8 or 9, a collection that was for sale, and I almost bought it. I mean, they wanted like $1,200, but I didn't know enough about them from the picture. I couldn't do enough research to know for sure that I could double my money. But I felt like probably even with those, because most of them were not, they were less than 20 inches tall. They had one
Right.
that was kind of tall, maybe like 24. And I think I could have probably made money, but I didn't want to buy all that, deal with all that glass and make $300. If I
Yeah.
didn't have spending that much money, if I couldn't make $1,000 profit by the time I sold all of them, it just wasn't worth it to me. So
Yeah,
I,
because
I
you got to
wasn't
sit
confident
there
enough.
and
I passed.
you got to be nervous about the shipping and
Oh my goodness.
yeah, that's
But I'll
one
risk it
thing.
for $10, man.
Oh yeah, one thing I have noticed about selling high end items, the rate of return drops through the floor. Like
Oh
if
yeah.
people that are willing to part with $5, $6, $8, $1,000, they're serious about what they're buying. They're not
Right.
buying it to try to rip you. I mean, there are some, but it's a lot lower than say like a $10 video game. You know,
No doubt.
that gets you ripped off quicker than $1,000 vase.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Without a
that's
doubt.
awesome, man. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's exciting, brother. I don't know when I'll get it listed. So if you see it in a video later, if anybody does, I did actually a little haul video that I may put out that's like less than 10 minutes long. It's really short, but I was so excited about the stuff that I picked up that I wanted to do a little quick filming of it and just show everybody. So I may post that later in the week. But so if you see it, it may be a while before you see it pop up in my store, because I want it, like you said, I want to be sure that I know how I'm going to approach shipping it before
Yep.
I risk it selling, because I'm not worried about whether or not it will sell. Based on what I can tell, they will sell. Even if I was to take an offer of like $600 or $700 for it, I'm pretty sure it would sell pretty fast.
Yeah.
So, but I want to be prepared to ship it and know that it will get there safely. So I may actually like make some phone calls before I do that and kind of see what it would cost to have shipping done, like through a pack mail service or something like that.
You know
And
what I might do?
what's that?
Just right off the top of my head, the way you've described it, I think I would buy me a 4x4 by 48 golf club box, pack it in there extremely well in bubbles or whatever, and then buy me a 6x6 by 48 golf club box. Cut these down, obviously,
Right.
and then pack that box inside the other box, bubble around that. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can buy an 8x8
Right.
by 48 box also. I mean, you could triple box that thing and give it 3 layers,
Well,
you know.
it wouldn't fit in a 4x4. The bottom of it's bigger
Oh,
than that. The
really?
bottom of it,
Man,
the
it's bigger than
bottom
I
of it
thought.
is probably, it's probably at least 8 inches.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
just the bottom. Now it comes up small right to the top, but it
I didn't
swells in
notice
for the
the bottom.
base. I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense, because by the time you get to that height, the weight of the glass, I mean, it's not like 50 pounds, but it's pretty heavy.
Probably
And so
15 pounds anyway, ain't it?
yeah, so I mean, if it didn't have a decent base on it with weight down toward the bottom, it'd be very easy to just bump it and it fall over. So I
Yeah,
mean,
oh yeah,
it has to be counterweighted enough. I think that's why the bottom of this one's a little bigger than some of the shorter ones that you see,
yeah.
because of just sturdiness. I think it's just necessary. But
Wow, that is
yeah,
cool though. I might do what you're saying then, because that's I mean, I could come up with something, but that
oh yeah, I mean,
that
I believe I
that
can pack it. It's just like I don't have a place to go to. I don't have a Granger close by or nothing like that
yeah, I don't
that I
either.
know of anyway, where I can go and buy just the 3 boxes. So
Yeah,
if I have to pay Uline to ship me, a set of boxes, just to have a box for that, to pull one out of a set of 10 of each, I mean, I'm going to be spending a couple $100 by the time I pay shipping, to
yeah.
get the different box sizes I would need to do the one item. So, and I know I would have the leftovers if I ever had something like that again, but if I can go pay $50 and have someone else ship it, I may just do that in the end.
Yeah, because how
Especially if
many
I'm
of
going
these
to get.
bases are you going to find out, at a yard sale?
Oh yeah,
Probably not too many.
no.
That is crazy, man. That's so crazy.
But we can hope, right?
I'd love to find some. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
look, I'm just tickled all the way around because I mean, the vase is awesome because of the value. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm excited about that. But I would rather find two of the Jaws things than two of the vases. And some people think I'm crazy for that, but the Jaws I love. It's cool. It's got good value. I didn't spend but $1 on it too. I'm gonna make good money on it, and I will enjoy it. It won't be a pain in the neck to store or to ship. So I mean, for a lot of reasons, for me, I would rather find more items like that. Now, I mean, if I could find $1,000 swung vase every time I went out, obviously, I guess that would probably be foolish not to say I'd like to do that. But I know that that's not going to be the case. So, I mean, I'd rather be finding like the Bratz doll, the Jaws thing. I'd like to find 5 or 6 of those items that all make $100 to $200 than find one piece of glass every time I go, because that glass is going to be a headache every time. But I'm thankful for it, man. I'm excited to get it sold.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to get the text message saying, "Guess what just sold?" Because that's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
that's going to be exciting. Yeah. But speaking of all the shipping, like talking about how you would ship this thing, like right now, I don't know if I'd want to sell it with your shipping situation going on.
Man. It's been crazy, and I know for the volume of items, I don't sell as much as a lot of other sellers do numbers wise. I'm changing pages here. I wrote some stuff down. I got a couple of messages last week from buyers. One said that they wanted to know what to do because their item hadn't gotten there, and I'm like, well, it's not really in my hands once I ship it. And I mean, I have a hard time figuring out how to respond to those messages, but I went and checked the tracking. I try to give as good a customer service as possible, and I give them all the updates, so I'm going to keep a watch on it. And but after I got the second message, I kind of scrolled through some of the items, the sold items, and I noticed a couple of others that should have delivered already. And we're talking about stuff that was shipped out, like from April the 7th or April the 8th or older shipments that hadn't delivered. And I noticed a couple of others. Well, I didn't comb through it real closely. And then before we started the show, I was telling you about it, and I kind of pulled it back up to check those out, because I thought, well, I need to check on those again today anyway. And as I was doing it, I noticed a couple of others. Well, then I started combing through, and I wrote down 8 different shipments that were shipped between March 29th and April the 8th that still have not arrived at their destination. And we're talking about, there's several of these actually, that are still making their rounds at the Birmingham sorting facility. So when I drop these off at the local post office, usually the next day they arrive at Birmingham, sometimes the same day, depending on what time they arrive. Sometimes the truck comes after I drop off. So, I mean, the fact that 7 to 8 days later, they're still, because it'll update and it'll say on its way to the next facility, arriving late. And then it says, oh, processing through Birmingham again. I mean, that's like, it's been updated every 2 or 3 days, processing through Birmingham again. And so I don't know if they're doing some kind of update, or if they're, re-outfitting the facility with new sorters or with something like that, something that's causing a hiccup in it. I know there were problems earlier toward the end of last year. I think around Christmas time, there were some problems. It was in Texas or Oklahoma one, where packages were getting held up because the facility was having issues. So I don't know. I just know that once I went through, I've got 8 items that are lost in transit somewhere and have not arrived. And so even though I've only got 2 messages, I'm probably about to get bombarded with them within the next few days if something doesn't happen and they get there. And then I've got to deal with the upset customers. I mean, that's frustrating when it's totally out of my control. There's nothing that we can do once we drop the package off. I mean, there's really nothing we can do as far as making sure it gets fulfilled. It's out of our hands at that point.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos, like, those memes that says found out where my package was, and it shows a conveyor with this box tumbling, it just keeps falling. It never gets up the conveyor.
Oh my goodness.
Yours are probably just sitting there rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably have one of my boxes that's hindering all the others, since all mine went in at the same time.
They're just bumping each other back.
Yeah. And it's holding all the rest of mine back. Yeah. And nobody cares,
Everybody's walking by like, it'll catch up eventually.
And then I had that one.
When I worked in a warehouse, you would literally, from time to time, the conveyor, going up, you'd look over and see a box that fell off to the side. And it's like, well, who's going to get that? Because the maintenance guys would have to come on a genie boom lift, go up and grab that box and sit it back on the conveyor. All of that for like 1 second. And it's like, this is what automation does, I mean, it's not all bad, but it has no brain. It can't fix itself,
And I mean, honestly, without the automation, imagine what we would be paying for shipping at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Because I know the automated technology, that side of things, it costs a lot of money to install, but the amount of overhead that it saves, and I know it costs jobs. And I mean, I'm all for not, eliminating jobs with technology, but at the same time, for us and what we're trying to do for a living, like I said, if it weren't for the automated side of shipping prices, man, they would be no telling what we'd be paying. Probably triple or better what we're paying right now.
You wouldn't be able to ship, man. There's no way. There's no possible way. This wouldn't be a legitimate business model if that were the case. They'd be carrying them on horseback still, probably. Who's going to carry your big swung vase on a horseback?
Oh my goodness! You imagine that Pony Express.
I wonder what that'll look like time they get there.
Oh my gosh!
We brought your broken glass shards. Here they are.
Yeah, for real. Have fun making art with that.
Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh. Well, there's something else exciting happening over your way. This is the Josh episode, by the way. Everybody out there, this is the Bama Jaybird, the Bama Babe episode.
Yeah, Bama Babe.
So you got a video over there doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. YouTube is a weird and interesting and impossible to figure out thing. I mean, it's just
so much.
And I mean, let me preface doing well with what we term doing well at our level of YouTube is a lot different than what some others would term doing well. But when I'm still sitting under 1,000 subs, and when your average video is getting maybe 300 views, 250, 300, 350, and that's what you're used to seeing, and every now and then you'll have a video that outperforms the others. Then when that happens, it's an exciting thing for us, especially if it brings in a lot of subs. And okay, so here's the strange thing. So I was planning on releasing a video yesterday, and if anybody has been here, it's not a superstition. I do feel like if you mess with it while it's running, like you do a short or something like that, especially when you got a small channel, sometimes it throws off something with your account, and that's that search result that's suddenly working. It's driving it gets stopped. So I backed off, said, well, maybe I'm going to wait a day or two and see how this plays out. And so what happened, the video that I released last week, the last video that I put out, it was 5 days old, and it was still hovering around 250 views. I was kind of disappointed. I thought it was a pretty decent video. I mean, I worked really hard on it. I thought it was at least as good as the one that I did before that did like 300, 350 views. And I thought, maybe it will perform at least that well. It looked like it was when it started, and then, man, it just plateaued. And for like 3 days, it was just a straggling of views. I mean, I could show let me show that chart in just a second. But so then Sunday night when I was getting ready to lay down, I told Caleb, I said, I noticed that I had a few more views than normal kind of for that time of night. It was around midnight. It's like it was just picking up just a little bit. Well, I woke up the next morning, and for some reason, YouTube decided to populate that video into search results. And I say that because to me, I think if I did something right with the thumbnail and the title and the description and all that stuff, you would think if it's just this algorithm that's running, that it would have picked that up from the time I released it. Right. And it would have responded that way then. I don't understand it, man. I just don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where it does sort out, but maybe it only pushes them in a certain order, and you have to wait for yours to come up when yours does kind of, fit the bill. I have no idea. All I know is this is what happened. If you can see that chart. So after 5 days, and you see how it just died after like day 1.5 or 2. All my people that normally watch had watched. And then you have those few stragglers, that just find it. And then look at that. So it has gone crazy for me. And
for those of you that are listening on the audio side, his views exploded after day 5.
Yeah, sorry about that, but it just like a total spike. It was a flat line pretty much, and it just has gone. I mean, it's nearly straight up. And so I'm at almost 1,900 views, and it's still rolling right now. And when I say rolling, like yesterday during peak times, I was getting like 100 views an hour during peak times, and even during the down times, like the slow traffic times, I've been getting 50 to 60 views an hour, and it's pretty much all concentrated on that one video. So and on top of that, I've added like over 50 new subscribers already from that video.
Awesome.
So I mean, and like I said, and it's still running. We talked about this. We keep expecting, because it's funny. Just as quickly as it jumps, it tends to suddenly. It's like you turn the water off. I mean, it don't even drip. It goes from like full speed ahead to like done. And so I keep thinking, but the pessimistic side, it's like it's gonna die. It's gonna die within just a few minutes. Next time I look at it, but it's doing good. So excited about that. I'm excited because I was beginning to wonder if I was going to make it to 1,000 by the meetup, and this is going to help get me close enough. I feel a little more encouraged again that maybe I might get there, and because you got to have some videos perform well.
If it keeps doing that, you'll be at 1,000 for long.
Yeah, maybe
I
so.
remember the one I had hit, I don't know I think it's the one I had hit 10K. It picked me up like 450 or 500 subs. So yeah, the more you get, the better off. But that's awesome. I hope it hits 100K. All you will go over there and watch, help Josh out. Do this though. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the thumbs up. All that little bit of activity gives him even more. It tells the algorithm we chose the right video, and it will get him more and more and more views, and that'll help him grow. So we can get him to 1,000. He's at 762. I'm looking at your page right now. 762 is what I'm seeing. In real time, it could be a little different. I don't know, but
no, that's what I've got too.
So I mean, you're less than 250 away. Surely,
but you realize that since Sunday night, because Sunday night, like not long before bed, when the last times I looked at it, I had just hit Sunday. Maybe it wasn't Sunday. Sometime during Sunday, right? I think it's when I posted that thing on Instagram where I'd hit 700 subs. So I think we were on the way home from church, and I showed my wife while she was driving, and then we got home, and sometime later Sunday I posted that little snapshot. But anyway, like I said, it's 62 more since then. I mean, that's crazy, because I mean I've been getting just 1 or 2 a day. I mean, and then bang, But,
so if you guys wonder why Josh and Casey have a fender bender, it's because Josh is showing Casey stuff on the phone while she's driving. That's what it is.
that's the least of my worries with my wife while she's driving. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand.
She scares me to death, man.
Yes. I have one of those too. Tanya's like, you're going too fast. And then when you're driving with her, going Mach 5, it's like, well, I got to get there. But you told me I was going too fast when I was going 60 and a 55. But when you're going 90, it's okay.
Oh, man. And look, I'm not criticizing. I'll tell you this. I know we're not supposed to do things like text and drive and be fumbling around doing other things. I know it's not smart and it's not safe. But you go find a traveling nurse, someone that's out there in the field going and seeing patients, doing home health, and tell them they can't touch their phone while they're in their car and also do their job. And it's not the only job like that, but I'm just telling you, it'd be almost impossible the way things are run now for them to be able to do that. It'd be very hard.
It would. Certainly would.
She's got Bluetooth and all that, and she tries her best to avoid, doing things that she can avoid. But I'm telling you, she's gotten pretty good at it. If there's such a thing, I think it's still dangerous, but she's got pretty good at it.
Getting good at being dangerous. That's what you just said.
Oh, she's good and dangerous. Yeah. And hopefully she don't watch this. She usually don't, so I'm probably safe.
That's why you're cooking the meals around your house. You got to make up for all these comments you make.
Hey, I keep her happy. I tell you that.
I guarantee you that. I've seen the pictures of the food, and I'm like, gosh, man, I wish I could cook like that. Hey, actually, I might be able to cook a little better now because the new house has a gas stove, and listen, I can cook on gas.
Okay.
So because my brain kicks in, it's like, ooh, this is gas. This is like a grill. So I can cook the hamburgers, the hot dog. I can stir fry. I can do several things like that,
Right.
Something about it being electric messes my brain up, though.
Sounds like it messes up the motivation.
It does, probably what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. I really
Right.
want a gas stove myself. I think I mentioned that I told that last episode to think about the Easter thing, or maybe the one before, where our stove died, the night before when I was supposed to cook and I hadn't even started cooking, had almost 20 people at the house and, trying to prepare a meal. But we went and bought that new stove, and I think we're going to probably move it into the mom's house.
Oh, yeah.
We just got the cheapest thing that they had in stock, that would kind of take the spot for the time being. But I hope to go to gas. I've wanted to have a gas stove, a range, for a long time now, and so I'm kind of excited about that. Since that one decided to conk out, it kind of opens the door for me to, because I don't usually spend money just because I want it, but like I said, with the door open to it now, I'm looking forward to that change.
Josh don't spend money on a stove. He's just back there like rocking it around like, won't you go ahead and die already? I need a gas stove. Go ahead and die already. Hit me with a hammer. All right. So we're going to have to start wrapping up because I got more moving to do. But let's hit our comment of the week. You got a comment of the week?
I do. I turn my page to look at that stuff I wrote down. There were a lot of good comments, by the way. I want to say this before I do my comment of the week. There was a lot of good, informative feedback, and I do want to just recognize, Page 1 Foot Flipper. He gave us a lot of really good feedback in regards to the secondary store, and Disgruntled Octopus as well gave some feedback on that, and then also Happy Heart Treasures gave a lot of really insightful feedback on our topics, and we really appreciate that. I'm not overlooking that. But my comment of the week, I'm going with Main Event Toys and Collectibles.
You gotta be kidding me. You took my daggum comment.
Sorry. I was afraid that might happen. But this is Doug at Main Event Toys Collectibles. Well, it's good that we were thinking the same thing. I mean, it was just super, super nice.
This can be our comment of the week then.
That'll work. He said, hands down, my favorite reseller podcast. Great episode, Doug. And we really do appreciate that. And we appreciate every comment. And like I said, I read every one of them. Even when I don't get to comment back on everything from my personal account, I'm always reading them. And I really enjoyed the feedback. But it's just nice to hear those kind words. And it's a feedback from someone we don't see on there usually. So I thought it'd be good to acknowledge that.
Absolutely. I love the comments we get. And I like that it's not just, good show, guys. Generic type comments, but it's people
or Josh actually,
or that would be a generic type comment, but it's just,
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Shane. Yes.
Among others.
And Glenn. Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah.
They
weren't the only ones.
He comes straight to the source just to let me know how big of a loser I was on this week's show. Oh, you gotta know Glenn. He's awesome, man. He's great. That was my comment too, because when I seen it, I was like, for somebody to comment saying, hands down, my favorite reseller podcast, that makes me feel good. Like, when this show started, it was just all born kind of in a weird way, but what it is now is it's not us trying to, although there's talk out there, we're not trying to make money, kill it, and get rich. If this show does pay, and guess what? We are monetized. We've made a grand total of about $2 so far on this show. And if it ever gets to the point, I hate to tell you, but podcasts in the reselling world, the big ones are making $150 and $200 a month, maybe at the max. That is nothing by means of how you're going to support yourself. Oh, I'm going to support myself with a podcast. You better eat crackers and drink water because you're not going to live very well on reselling podcast money. But for somebody to come in and say, my favorite podcast, my favorite reselling podcast, that makes me feel good that our content is not content just for the sake of content. We enjoy what we do. We like it. We're trying to improve it. We're putting these elements in, trying to make this show feel professional, sound professional, be professional, even though we're not very professional. We're just trying to be fun and entertaining
Yeah.
and helpful. And
We want
that's my favorite part about it,
right.
is it's just
We
us
want the
being us.
production of it to be really good, but
Yes.
not change anything about who we are or what we do. That's the thing.
Right.
But we are interested in making it the best that it can be, and
Absolutely.
we can't change who we are. But there's things like the backdrops and different things like that. We can work on that stuff. Those things are in our hands. We can change that, and so we do. We want it to be as good as it can be, and we don't know. Like I said, there's probably not much room for making a living on a podcast for sure. Not even with a large following, not like what we're doing, because a large following, like you said, in our genre is not a large following on YouTube.
Yes.
And so, but we appreciate everyone that watches, and we just enjoy hanging out and enjoy visiting with each other too. So, I mean, this is one of the highlights of my week, getting to hang out with my buddy Caleb here,
Yep.
for an
Mine
hour,
too.
hour and a half. And I mean, I look forward to it. It starts my week off on a good foot, and I mean, what you see is what you get. I mean, I feel like if we were sitting in the same room together, it'd be a lot the same way. It'd just be like
Absolutely.
this. So that's why we enjoy it. I mean, it's fun for us, and if someone else can get some encouragement, get some help, get some advice, or just a laugh, whatever you get out of it, man, that makes me feel good. So
Yeah. Just make somebody else's week a little easier,
yep,
and maybe help them along their reselling journey,
exactly.
And give them some useless wrestling knowledge that everybody needs to have.
Yep.
All right, let's hit sell of the week. Then we're going to get on into that useless wrestling knowledge. Well, you
go
got
ahead, because I didn't write mine down, I don't think.
Okay, well, Tanya come through for us this week again. She sold another set of Oneida Rushmore
Oh man,
flatware dinner forks. These are the 7 5/8 dinner forks, a 3-piece set for $75. That is on sale, and that is an offer accepted. And the reason these was like $99. The reason I took 75, the woman messaged me and she said, "Hey, I'm the lady that's bought 2 sets from you already. Would you
right?
take $75?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I will.
There you go.
You bought 2 sets from me at full price. I will gladly take this offer." And I even messaged her back and I said, "If there's anything else you see that you like, let me know and I'll make you an even better deal than what the sale is, because you are a returning customer and you have supported us." And it's like, I can support that, that absolutely. So she bought those for $75, and that's just another set gone, man. I think we've sold somewhere in the neighborhood of probably $2,000 worth of silverware. I mean,
Wow,
just insanity, just plumb crazy to me.
that's crazy.
I'm thinking about going to all plastic at the house and selling every piece I've got, just
Yeah.
start raiding the cabinets and the drawers and being like, "Tanya, you can't have nothing nice. Sorry. It's all paper and plastic."
Good luck. That's all I got to tell you.
Good luck. Actually, she was the one that said it first. She's like, "Wonder what our stuff's worth."
Oh man.
Not that much, I don't think. We don't, I would say we buy it at a yard sale, but we bought this at a yard sale too. So,
Right. Right.
I don't know. But
So
we,
I was having to double check to be sure, but my best sell was it's called a Game Wave family entertainment system. It's like a DV. I don't know. Let me just show the picture real quick if I can pull it up, because it's kind of cool. Um, I guess that's good enough. I don't see anything on there that's going to hurt to show. So it's that right there.
oh, cool.
So for 64.87, it's a game system, but it's got like remote controls,
Yeah.
and you can get extra DVDs to go in it. It's like just a family game system. But anyway, I picked that up. The box had been open, but everything was new inside of it. It's from probably it's 15 years ago at least. I can't remember now, early 2000s, and got it at a thrift store for $10. And
Nice.
I mean, it's a pretty good sale. They didn't have a high. They didn't have a lot of them listed and sold, but the sell-through rate was good. But it's one of those things I wasn't sure how fast it would sell, because there might have been like 5 or 6 listed and 3 or 4 sold, and it's sometimes a little iffy on that. But
Yeah.
I tried to price mine competitive, and it got it moved out fairly quick. So
That's
about
awesome.
$65 out of a $10 purchase.
That's good stuff.
Anything game related. I mean, you always got to check game related stuff, even if it's not
Yeah.
the big brands. It's worth checking out. You you might be surprised. I probably would have passed that up, and early on when I started reselling. But
Yeah.
I've learned, man, you got to at least check it out. You just never know when there's money sitting there.
It's a huge market. It's just a huge
Yep.
market. I mean, there's people everywhere wants that stuff. So let's go to this week in wrestling history. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I said, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready, man. Let's get it on.
We are introducing this right here. This is a new intro.
Hope you like it.
We may tweak this a little bit, but here we go.
All right.
This week in wrestling history.
This week.
What you got?
Well, we'll acknowledge one birthday. This was the week on April 17th that Rowdy Roddy Piper was born. So one of, I think, everybody's favorite. That's a wrestling fan from the back in the day. So
what's his real name?
Well, I have read it, but I can't tell you what it is.
Roderick Toombs.
Wow. There you go.
That's the kind of wrestling fan I was.
Oh, I know. Look, you were hardcore, man.
I was hardcore. Hey, speaking of hardcore, here's another thing that happened this week in wrestling history. The year was 1997. ECW had just become a prominent thing, and they put out their first pay-per-view that was ECW Barely Legal, and the main event was Terry Funk. He defeated Raven to win the ECW title. That was also that was 1997. So that was exciting.
Oh, yeah. And stayed on the hardcore side of things for wrestling. 2009, Mick Foley defeated Sting for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and that was at their Lockdown pay-per-view. So Mick Foley and Terry Funk are two of the absolute legends. Terry Funk, of course, kind of coming before him. He was older. But man, Mick Foley, Mankind, whatever you call, Cactus Jack. He went by so many different titles, but just one of the apps. Huh?
Dude Love.
Oh yeah, Dude Love. Yeah. I don't know why that didn't pop in my head, but that's probably one of his funniest to me. But you gotta love the sock. You gotta love the sock. Is that what you
remember the year that it was probably like 98 or 99? I don't know. One of those years through there that it was Royal Rumble, and he comes out as Mankind. He gets eliminated, or one of them anyway. Well, then later on, 5 or 6 people later, he comes out as Cactus Jack, gets eliminated. And then finally he comes back out again as Dude Love and gets eliminated. I'm like, this is great. If he'd have had 30 personas, he could have been the Royal Rumble all by himself.
Man, I'm telling you.
Great.
While we're on the subject, I won't say much about this, but if you are a fan of Mick Foley, then go to YouTube and search up the Hell in a Cell match between him and Undertaker, the 25th anniversary. And some of you may have already seen it. It's been out for a while, but I just stumbled across it. Hadn't seen it till the other day. They got together on the 25th anniversary of the match and sat down together and rewatched the tape, and they just kind of give their insight and commentary, talked about, outside of their wrestling, personality, as far as, persona, what their character, just from who they were, what was going on in their minds. It was so awesome, man. It's such a cool little documentary that they done. So if you're a wrestling fan, check that out. I think you'll really, really enjoy it.
And when Undertaker was standing up there and he threw him off the cell, you look at his face and he's really trying hard to keep the Undertaker face on, but you can tell he's like, oh crap, what just happened here? Because it wasn't supposed to happen quite like it happened.
Yeah, and literally
rather quickly,
and all the response, like that was the normal scripting of things, like for the people to come over, and they're checking and but he said, literally, when I watched you, the way you took that spill. He said, right now, he's watching the screen. He said, right now, I'm sitting up there. I'm thinking, all right, Mick, move. All right, move. Let me see you move. Give me the signal. They'll have some kind of, it's not just anything. There's like something they're supposed to, that lets know, okay, I'm good to continue. Well, come to find out, from his perspective, like I said, need to watch the documentary. he did continue, and he convinced them he was good to continue, but he was not good to continue. He just done it anyway. I mean,
Who am I? Where am I? I'm good.
that's what makes him so legendary. I mean, it's crazy. And not only did the man continue, that he goes back up on top of the stupid cell, to finish the script as it was written out, which was for him to be slammed through the top. And that didn't even go according to plan. So, I mean, it's a really interesting documentary. I think people would enjoy it.
Absolutely.
The last wrestling history thing that I have was 1998 Spring Stampede. And I just enjoy these little chains of events. A lot of times it really ticks people off. And it involves three of, my favorite wrestlers. So Macho Man defeated Sting for the WCW World Heavyweight title. But then the following night on Monday Night Nitro, Hogan defeated Macho Man to take the title back himself. So it was a very quick transition. And, one of the reasons why people, I think, both loved and hated Hulk Hogan at times, because he was, he always, I think was kind of pushed a little harder than some of the other wrestlers that were working their tails off and probably deserving of some of the push themselves. So, but
very true. Very true. That's awesome. That's good old days right there, man.
Oh yeah.
Good old days. All right. Well, I just want to, for all of you that do listen on Spotify and Apple and different audio platforms, we appreciate you. If you want to see what we look like, I don't recommend it, but if you want to see what we look like, come on over to YouTube and check it out. We'd love to have your support over here too. We appreciate all you guys, but just look around at my shed, man. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit and mess everybody up. I've took down all my stuff up there. I took down, Douchins can see it up here. Yeah, I can't get a very good picture of that. I've took down all my toys. I am getting ready to pack up the stuff that is not necessary.
Right.
I did finally have to order some boxes and some bubble mailers the other day. I've been trying not to order anything as I'm trying to move it as light as possible, but I was about to run out of a couple things. So had to order a few things, but we're getting close to moving out day here. It won't be too much longer. And I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I'm not sure if I did. We are going to take one of the sheds with us now. Did I mention that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, the little storage shed for your lawn
equipment. It's exactly like this one. It's not finished, but it's got the skylight and it's laid out like this. The door, but it's 24 wide instead of 32 wide. It don't have the walk-in door, don't have the windows. But we're going to use it as, personal storage, but I may also have to use it for a little while. I may have to set up some racks in it just for the time being until I can finish that room, because it's going to take me a little while to finish the room. It's going to be a little bit of a job to get that finished out. But yeah, we're taking it with us. But all right, it's time for the main event. Are you ready to? Well, I don't know if I want to say lose, because
be careful. Be careful.
I lost. Are you ready to compete? Defend your dad? Two old guys.
How the mighty have fallen, folks. How the mighty have fallen. Okay. He talked smack the entire show last week.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we'd get on another topic and be 5 minutes later. Here he was again, and now he don't even want to do this segment.
We can wait if you'd like. Okay. It's time for Josh to defend his Two Old Guys World Heavyweight Paper Championship of the world. I guess. I don't know. Because Will's not sending it back.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. What you got?
Not doing the intro?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. That's how messed up I am. I can't remember.
You're all over it today, brother.
It's over. We're done.
Goodness. All right. So I go first, I guess. Is that how we do it since I won last week?
Yes.
All right. So
get used to
it. So yesterday I had a Greek salad, and I ate what I thought was a little crumble of feta cheese that I found on my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it was deodorant. How was your day?
Wow. That was really bad.
Are you worried now or what?
I don't know if I should be worried or just concerned.
I thought it was pretty funny, man.
That was so bad. You probably won again. Who knows? All right. So what do you I don't even want to do this. What do you call a beehive without an exit?
Go for it.
Unbelievable.
I like it.
That goes along with that freebie you had.
Yeah. That was Will. Was that you that did the freebie?
No, I thought it was you. Was it Will?
I think it was Will.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll get my title back with a B joke. Maybe. We'll see.
I don't know.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh,
I can't stand having it gone for long though.
Look,
I'm gonna have to just get a replica belt or something.
I had a better one, and I'm not just saying that. I really did have a better one, but I know you've been super busy. And unlike you, I got to spend about 30 minutes Sunday night before I went to bed, kind of looking through some jokes to try to find a couple to have, on hold for future episodes. And so I kept my better one back because I was thinking maybe as busy as you were this week, I might not need my best one this week. So
you're probably right.
I fed you my number 2 this week. I'm saving the next one, for when you're really prepared. So
yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know I feel sorry for you. I really do. I mean,
listen,
you lost last week. You've been a mess the whole show today. You started out calling me Bay, and then man, it just went downhill from there. You forgot the intro.
And with that, I'm leaving.
Oh man, geez.
So that's going to do it for the Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast. From now on, we'll see you. We're done.
The train wreck, CALEV.
Yeah, that's how you spell it this week for sure. I believe that's good.
Oh man, hey, it's my turn to talk a little smack. So
that's right. Be careful; it comes back on you though. So,
well,
if you guys haven't already, go buy your ticket for the meetup. The 2024 Pickin the Plateau. It will be here before you know it. It's almost May. We're fixing to start lining up some guests to be on the show, some of our sponsors. If you're interested in that, being a guest with the Two Old Guys, and you want to sponsor the meetup, that information is available at the ticket link on Eventbrite. There's some spots left for that. We got supporter packages, and we've got tickets available. Come see us. August, is it 2nd or 4th? 2nd or 4th, I'm not sure. First weekend in August. Friday night will be the meetup. Thursday night will be the bowling tournament, and we're looking forward to all of it. Can't wait to see you there. Anything else? Oh, Mr. Champion, before we leave?
Well, seriously, so anyone that has stuck around this long and is not subscribed, if you've enjoyed the show, we would love for you to subscribe and become a subscriber to our show as well, the Two Old Guys. So
absolutely
be back next week. We do this every week, Lord willing, and we just try to have a good time. So. How
we accomplish this kind of nonsense weekly, but we do get it done.
When that's all you got is no sense, nonsense is easy.
That's right. It's not even a struggle at this point.
It's not. I'm just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
Just
all right, guys. That's going to do it. Until next week, we will see you guys later.
Have a good one, guys.
Two Old Guys out.
Out.